Good morning everyone and Sat Shri Akal. Welcome back to our channel once again. My name is Manpreet Kaur, proud CEO of Kirpa Properties. और आज हम लोग हैं शोभा हार्टलैंड में शोभा रियलिटी के हेड ऑफिस में जहां पे हम आज बात करने वाले हैं सिनिया आइलैंड की बीच फ्रंट properties starting at just 380,000 US dollar and it's very close to world's biggest upcoming casino Wynn Casino जो कि बन रहा है रसल खेमा में. So Sinia Island is a natural island and we have 1, 2 and 3 bedroom apartment along with independent villas starting from around 11 to 12 million dirham and payment plan is quite flexible. But before I give you the entire history of the island and the emirate and the project, let me introduce you to my husband and Managing Director of Kirpa Properties, Mr. Jay Singh Chathas. Thank you, Jay. Thank you so much for joining us. Early in the morning, I woke him up at 6 o'clock for this shoot.
Yep.
So thank you so much for joining us.
Of course.
And our investor would like to know more about Sinia Island. So why don't you take them through the project?
So guys, thank you for watching, first of all, and we are going to walk you through, and I'm going to walk you through the entire island, Sini Island, and tell you more about this investment opportunity. What are the numbers? What can we expect? How is this property going to be managed? What is the long-term goal of this investment? So I'm going to go through that all with you in this video. So please make sure to stick around till the end so that I can tell you how to take advantage of this. Let's go. So guys, we're here in the sales center of Sobha, and you can see all around us, there's a lot of models of all the different projects that they have going on. Sobha itself is a homegrown developer. Of course, they've been in the region for many, many years, more than 30 in fact. And in Dubai, they've been developing for the past, let's say, 15, 16 years minimum. And they've done many, many iconic projects. I think their main goal was to improve the standards of development, which they have done. And the whole thing about Sobha is that they're fully vertically integrated. So anything from buying the land all the way down to managing the units, they do everything in between. And they all have in-house teams that take care of these things. For example, the design is done by their design team. They have an architectural team. They have engineering team that takes care of MEP. Then they have a contracting team or a separate construction company owned by them with over 20,000 workers. So that takes care of the construction. Then after post-construction on completion, they have a facility management company which takes care of the common areas. They have let's say, not only that, but a property management company. And now they've come up with a rental management company as well. So when you buy with Sobha, you can be assured that what you're buying today will get delivered on time with the same quality that they have shown you in the brochures, in their marketing materials. And that is the key to buying good real estate and making money in the long term. Because at the end of the day, when you're buying something, you need to make sure that it's something that you were promised. And that's the first thing. Second thing would be the pricing, the payment plans, the location is ideal for you. So we're going to go through all of those things in this investment case, investment opportunity, I would say, in Sini Island. Before we start, I'd like to give you a little history lesson on what Sini Island is. Sini Island is also known as Al Sinia, which is an Arabic word. It is not a man-made island, as you would assume, because there are so many man-made islands all over the UAE. Most famously in Dubai, the Palm Jumeirah, Palm Jebel Ali, Jumeirah Bay Island, La Mer, the list goes on. So Sini Island is a natural island, and it is teeming with life. There are literally thousands and thousands of animals when you go there, wildlife, bird life, including flamingos. And the island itself is surrounded by marshlands. So you have dense marshlands which surround the island, which gives it a very beautiful, let's say, scenic vibe, right? When you go there and you're living there, you will feel one with nature and you'll have a home on the beach. So you have a home on the beach, plus teeming with life around you, greenery, and it's a different sort of living, right? Which you cannot experience, I think, in any of the man made islands that Dubai has to offer. So, this is what makes it a unique case. This is what will attract people to the island, right? Of course, near this island, you have a very huge development. The Wynn Casino and Resort is being built, and it will be finished in late 2027. Wynn, as you know, is a large name in the casino industry. They have casinos in Las Vegas and Macau, and they're one of the biggest operators around the world. They chose Russell Kema and they chose this particular location, Al Marjan Island in Russell Kema. Russell Kema, again, is a emirate of the UAE, city state right next to Al Quwain. Al Quwain is where the Sinia Island is located. And to give you a little perspective on the history of Sini Island was inhabited even in the 5th and 6th century, and that too, interestingly enough, by Christians. So, excavations in 2022 discovered a Christian church, Baptist cistern, and other buildings showing Christian artifacts. So, this Sini Island is also one of the oldest settlements of Christians in this entire region. So that's an interesting fact. And then they have, it was also known as the largest pearling site because UAE itself was a huge hotbed for pearl fishing. And Sini Island is one of those settlements made from people, fishers fishermen that wanted to find pearls off the coast. History lesson, and then going into the future, you now have huge development on Sini Island led by the government of Al Quwain and Sobha. So Sobha will be the developer of the sites. They will make sure that the development is finished on time as per the quality that they have always delivered, and making sure that the access points from the mainland as well as on the waterways is completed on time. So the whole point of Sinia Island is to create a destination, a luxury destination for travelers who want to go, let's say, have a staycation. So you'll have a lot of people from Dubai itself, Sharjah, Abu Dhabi, the other Emirates that will want to go to Sinia Island to enjoy the wildlife, the experience, the beachfront vibe, and have that, let's say, experience with their family even. So Sini Island itself has a lot to cater to all these people. They have five-star resorts, they have a clubhouse, they have golf course, they have villas on the beach, they have apartment buildings on the beach with amenities that you would expect. And the only thing I would say to you, if you're an investor, is to look at the fundamentals, look at the location, look at beachfront destinations around the world, and see what prices they're selling at. Here, like Manpreet said, apartments are starting from only 1.4 million dirhams or less than $400,000. And these apartments are going to be top of the class. So you will buy a very good unit in a very good destination, which you can rent out for the short term rentals, which will do pretty well in this place because you'll have a lot of staycation people and you'll have a lot of tourists who are coming to the casino and want integrated community living because they were going to stay there for maybe a week or 2 weeks. So this will be ideal for them. Let's walk you through the island, where the apartments are located, what price points they started with, and what price points are going on right now. So you can see the growth in the last 1 year. Let's go. So we're standing here at the model of the Sini Island, and I wanted to show you a little, walk you through the island a little bit so you understand what the island has to offer, right? So to walk you through properly, I would need to tell you how you enter the island. This road you can see here, this actually goes to the mainland, and it is a bridge connecting the island to the mainland. It's roughly 1.7 kilometers long. And once you enter the island, you will see five-star resorts, one on this side, you can see over here, with private beachfront villas. And then as you enter the island, you'll see another five-star resort on this side. So this will cater to people that want services, amenities that hotels can offer, and don't want to stay long term in bigger units. So this is perfect for them. Um, and then you come to the central core or spine of the island, which is this lagoon with beaches on the internal sides. And you have apartment buildings. You can see low rise residential apartment buildings on either side of the beach and on that side as well. So these apartments on this side were launched last year in July, August, and they launched at a price point of roughly 2,000, 2,100 per square foot. Or if you take dollars, about $600 per square foot. And now today, the same apartments on the other side that are selling, they're selling for roughly 2,800, or let's say $730 per square foot. So there has been some appreciation, even though these are not completed. So these first apartments will be completed at the end of 2027. Construction is already underway. Infrastructure is being built. The lagoon itself has been dredged or almost dredged, and you will have a lot of the beachfront sides. These are obviously, it's a natural island, so the beach is natural, so that is taken care of. A little bit about the island itself. So you have the low-rise residential, and in the central parts of the island is where most of the amenities are. So on that side of the island, in the central part, you'll have the 18-hole golf course, and on the opposite side, you'll have a clubhouse as well. And then on the other side, you'll have the mall and hotel with a marina and a yacht club, which will cater to people that want to go fishing because it is a good fishing spot, and people who want to park their boats so that they can go to the casino or go to Dubai, up to them. This is a very nice location for that. And then, of course, on the other side of the island, you'll have the villas, which I have another video for. I will break down all of the things that villas can offer in another video. Of course, that's for a different type of buyer, more a savvy investor, I would say, in terms of, because the values are much higher. You know, you're looking at 11 million dirhams, or about $3 million for a villa starting price. And in the apartments, only it's 10 times less. So a little breakdown of the island, what it has to offer. The island itself is 90 million square feet. So it's huge. And only 20 million and less will be developed because they want to keep the wildlife. They want to keep that they want to keep it green. They want to make sure that the island itself doesn't get affected too much by the development. So the government has only allowed Sobha to construct on 20 million square feet of the land. So that's why, you know, this will be a destination not just for people that want a great lifestyle, but also for those who want to enjoy the beachfront and wildlife that's teeming around the island. So next, I'm going to break down the numbers related to investments, what you can get here. All of the apartments have great views because you either have beachfront or you have sea view. So there's no apartment that will have a bad view. So that's a good sign. Sizes are very good, spacious enough for people coming there on a short-term lease. It's very, very ideal. And we'll walk you through the numbers for both one beds and two beds so that you understand how much you're paying, when you're paying it, who's going to manage it, what's going to happen, what are the potential returns, how much you can rent it for. All those numbers we will let you know in the next few minutes. Okay, guys, next, like we discussed, we're going to be looking at the units in these buildings and the calculations on the cash flow, the payment plan, and what kind of returns can we see if we keep these units and rent them out on a short-term basis. So that's our main focus for today. So let's have a look at this. This is one of the projects on the island, one of the apartment buildings called Canal Side Marina Residences. This is located, I'll be showing you on the master plan anyways, but it's located on the marina side where the boats have berths to park. So near the yacht club, which I showed you in the master plan. So I'm just going to go through this very quickly.
This is kind of what they're expecting. On the ground floor, you'll have a lot of retail, restaurants, places to sit down, relax, look at the boats going through. And of course, some of these apartments, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but some of these apartments will be fully furnished. So you don't have the headache of furnishing your units, which I would suggest because coming down to Russell Kama, getting your furniture delivered, yes, you can do it if you're into that kind of thing, and you can do all the lighting, you can do whatever you like. But Sobha does a really good job at furnishings. It's an extra 70,000 for a one bedroom and 90,000 for a two bedroom, so I would recommend it. And these prices may change, so I'm just giving you that disclaimer over there. But again, it's cheaper just to furnish it using Sobha's own furniture. So this is just some renders of the interiors, as you can expect. And this is the canal side residence's location on the master plan. So as you can see, it's right in front of the yacht club. I'm not going to zoom in too much, but you can see that. And the next slide again is our payment plan for this unit. This particular building is going to be completing in 2029, so you still have 4 years to go. And the payment plan is structured in a way where you're paying basically 20% on booking, 10% after 6 months, and another 10% after 12 months, and then another 20% in the second year, and 40% on completion. The purchase price of this particular one bed is 1.397. This is a little bit on the higher side, but that's okay. We have cheaper units in other buildings and in this building. Pre-registration fees, this just means your your land department fees, your RERA fees, which you have to pay at the end of once the unit is handed over to you. So that kind of breaks down the payment plan. Hope that's understood. It's pretty simple. And let's move on to the view of this unit. So as you can see, this unit is on the back side of the building, but the back side of the building is where you have the water as well. As you know, this over here, there's no building over here on this side of the island, so it's all water views, and then the mainland is over here, about a kilometer away. So you still have very nice views of the villas and the water, which is not bad. And I think that's fair to assume for every single unit. You still have some kind of view. Of course, here you have the marina view, which is, in this case, a premium. So any apartments on the front side would be having a little bit of a premium on the backside units. But that doesn't mean these are bad units. They are very good views from this unit. And of course, height does matter. So the higher your floor, the higher the price, which is the way developers like to sell and buy. And you can see all the middle units seem to be smaller. So these are mostly one bedrooms. And at the end, you'll see 2 bedrooms and 3 bedrooms. This is the floor plan of the one bed. It's a very open plan layout, as you can see, for the one bed. It's very square shaped and very simple floor plan that they've used. Of course, you have quite some good space over here for your living room, bedroom. You have 2 bathrooms, so you have a powder room as well as your ensuite bathroom in your bedroom, and you have a balcony as well. Now, the balconies aren't really huge balconies, which is okay because people who are generally going to be staying here will be staying here on a short-term basis. They're not going to be hanging up their clothes or sitting out and lounging all day long. This is just a place to stay and stay for a few nights. So in that perspective, it's a pretty good layout. Okay, next we have the same building, but we're going to be looking at a 2-bedroom unit instead of a 1-bedroom. This is, again, this is a little bit more clearer zoomed in. So same building in front of the yacht club, in front of the marina over here. This is where all the boats will be parked, and we'll be able to go through this lagoon all the way out into the ocean. So strategic location, I think. All the buildings, there's some perk, some good thing about it, and yeah, it's all good. I think from whichever unit you pick, you will not go wrong. That's in my opinion. Of course, the prices will affect your returns, your yields, and we'll be going through that later. This is the payment plan or sales offer for a 2-bedroom unit. A little bit on the, I mean, a lot more than what you can get. You can get units around 1.7, 1.8 million. So I'll be showing you those too. But this is a premier unit, 2.5 million for this. It's 893 square feet, and the payment plan is pretty much the same as the 1-bedroom. 20% payment up front, 500,000 dirhams, 10% within 6 months, 10% within 12 months, 10% within 18, 10% within 24, and the last payment on completion, which is in 2029. The view is very nice. It's a premier unit, so you have the marina view, which is great, and this is why you're paying extra just for that view. So, and it's also on the, also in Tower A, which is why it has less units. So again, this is why you're getting that premium on it. Of course, there are other 2-bedrooms in this space which have the same view and may be cheaper. So I would consider those because, again, you're looking at this as an investment, so the numbers are what really matters. And I'll be showing you the breakdown of those numbers. This is the layout, very good layout in my opinion because it's open plan again. This space being open means instead of having, a very small living room, you've kind of opened up the living room into the kitchen and dining, and that gives you that open space. I myself lived in a 1-bedroom in Dubai Hills Estate, which was roughly 650 square feet, and it didn't seem small at all to me because they had kept it open plan exactly like this. And the main area which has to be open is this area. When you enter the house, that has to be the most open. The bedrooms, again, you're not going to be spending as much time. You're just sleeping there. Bedrooms don't have to be that open. So I wouldn't even look at the bedrooms. I would just look at this central living and dining space. This is where you're going to hang out. So if you look at that, then yes, you're doing really well, Sobha. All right, next, the exciting stuff. We're going to look at the short-term rental investment model for these apartments. Again, this is something that you have to do your own due diligence on. This is just based on what I found in the market. And again, I'm a very conservative guy, so I don't like to throw out numbers. I know a lot of people have said you can make close to 15, 16%, which may be possible, maybe in the future when we see what happens in the market. But again, I've tried to keep it as conservative as I could, and you'll see why. So the occupancy level I've taken is about 65%, which is lower than the market. But again, I'm looking at the micro markets nearby where they'd have this occupancy, some hotels and stuff like that, where the overall occupancy is around this much. So I've kept it the same. Service charge is about 13 dirhams per square foot, management fee. So again, I'm repeating this. Sobha has set up a short-term rental or a property management company which will manage your unit after they hand over, and they will be taking care of all the bookings. They'll be taking care of the marketing, the cleaning, and all the services related to short-term rentals. So they'll manage it for you, and they'll take 18% off the top line revenue. Maintenance I've kept at 2%. This is not really required, but I've kept it in anyways. ADR is your average daily rate. So this we're growing by 5% per year after handover. Let's say we're starting in 2029 and our currency is dirhams. So I've taken 6 units, sorry. I've taken 6 units out of the list of available units in the entire master plan, where you can see The first column being the unit type or number of beds. So I've taken two 1-beds, 3 2-beds, and 1 3-bed. And the views as well are different. I've tried to keep them different to each other, so you can see the difference in the daily rate. Sizes as well, prices. So you can see here there's a 1-bed this is the cheapest 1-bed that I could find. So this is the 1.34 million. This is let's say an average 1-bed, 1.43, and then 2 bedrooms in 3 different price ranges. And then we have just 1 3-bedroom. There are very limited options for 3-beds, but this is one of them. And if you look at the daily rates, again, I'll show you where I took these rates from, but these are the daily rates I've taken. 65% occupancy, this is what we're looking at. How many days in a year will be full? Now, this may change depending on the unit, but I've just kept it 65% overall, just to make it simple for myself. Gross revenue, this is how much revenue that is expected to be generated based on the ADR and the occupancy. And again, I could go into depth. If you get on a call with me, we can do more in-depth study. We can look at even more conservative figures to see what we can get down to so that you know how much risk you're taking. Management fees I've taken out of the gross revenue. Service charges, this is 13 dirhams times the size. So you're not looking at a lot, to be honest, because the units are pretty small. Maintenance I've taken per year. This is just your extra kitty that you can keep on the side if you want. I don't think you'll need it for the first 5 years anyways. And it's Sobha, quality is good, so even longer. So you may not even need this. This is your profit, adds to your net income at the end of the day. And this is the net income after taking away all of these from the gross revenue. And then you can see the yields are very healthy. Compared to other waterfront locations, this is doing really, really well, because if you go to Dubai and you try to do the same calculations, you will not get this. Obviously, like I told you, the price ranges are very, very low when you compare to other waterfront locations or waterfront apartments in, let's say, Dubai. In Dubai, you'll probably get double this price for a 1-bed. So what Sobha has done really well is they've kept the sizes small, which means their price per square foot doesn't get affected, and the selling price is really, really good. So let's look at where I got these numbers from. I looked at some hotels nearby in Ras Al Khaimah. Ras Al Khaimah is right next to Siniya Island. This is an apartment building on Al Marjan Island, very close by, about 12 to 15 minutes away. And this is a very old building. Mid-luxury, I wouldn't call it mid-luxury. This is more on the cheaper side. But again, they're getting 700 to 850 dirhams a night when it's rented out. Bubble Bar is a hotel. So we looked at 2-bedroom suite, 1,000 to 1,250 a night. Mina Al Arab, this is further down the coastline, about 25 minutes away from Siniya Island, and they're looking at 2,200 to 2,600 per night. The 1-bedrooms in Kaur, Tana, this is a 1-bedroom chalet. I actually stayed here once, but at that time the prices were much more, about 1,500 a night, but we've kept 750 to 950 as the average. Gateway Residences, this is also not too far away. These are apartments, and they are looking at 1,000 to 1,150 per night. So again, very similar units, but the thing that all these units don't have is the community amenities that Sobha will provide. So even though what our daily rate is pretty on point, if you compare it to all these will be increased in the future, I think. And what I've kept here is pretty on point, pretty conservative in my opinion. But even then, our yield is very healthy. So you can see most of them are above 10%, and the only one that isn't is the 3-bedroom, which is understandable. It's a very large unit, and the ticket size is quite high as well. So even then, I'm making 8.6%. Okay, 5-year projection on this is for the two. So I picked out the 2-bedroom water view unit, which in my opinion, is the best, of course, based on the yield that we can generate. and it's not a very small unit, still 653 square feet, 1.7 million, and we can make 12.4%. That's amazing, right? So I've taken this and I've projected the next 5 years, looked at increasing the average daily rate by 5% per year, seeing what my gross revenue gets up to, and from 12.4% I'm going up to 15% in the 5th year, which is really, really good. So in roughly 6 to 7 years, 7 years, let's say, I'll get my money back, which is really good, I think. And that kind of return, those kind of returns are not really achievable anywhere else at the moment. So this is why Sini Island apartments are pretty good, you know, when you look at the yield. Snapshot on the yields, again, this is just looking at the average yield per unit, per type of unit, based on the number of beds. 1 bed's 10.3%, 2 beds 11.6%, 3 bedrooms around 8.7%. Well, I only took with 1 3-bedroom, but most of them are in this price range, so you will get the same yield. My recommendation, of course, is the 2-bedroom water view unit, where my yield is 12.4% in year 1 and going up to 15% in year 5. So a lot of good resale potential. Anybody earning 10% would buy this unit in a heartbeat. So you can be assured that you can make 50% appreciation just based off of that. And the best entry, let's say if you don't have the budget to buy a 1.8 million dirham 2-bedroom, you can go for the 1.4 million 1-bedroom, which will still give you 10% plus returns. Of course, the 1-bedrooms being more in supply, that could have a negative impact on the daily rate, which we don't know yet. We're just assuming at this moment. 2-bedrooms, a little bit better because there'll be less of them in the entire island, and you will still have the option. Because if somebody's renting a 1-bedroom for, let's say, 800, they only have to pay 300 dirhams up to get a 2-bedroom. And especially if it's a big family coming in or a group of friends, 2 bedrooms are usually gonna, take that cake. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you learned a lot. I'm just gonna go back to this slide because this shows you exactly what the numbers are. This is something you can save, take a screenshot, and if you're interested in having a more in-depth view of a particular unit, what we can do is we can do the breakdown of the entire project again. We can look at one unit in a particular building, look at the view, look at the short-term rental calculations for that particular unit. So we get something similar to this table, but in a more specific unit-oriented way. And then that way you'll have a better understanding of each and every unit that you want to look at. So we can do that. You just have to get in touch with me on my email. That'll be below the video. Reach out, say you've watched the video and you have a question, or you want to have an entire breakdown of the community as well as the numbers. So reach out to me, and I hope you enjoyed the video. This is one of many. I'm going to be continuing this on a regular basis, so all the best, guys.
Okay, guys, so I'm sure you have seen that the apartments that I've showcased in this presentation are worth the look. So if you're interested to have a more thorough walkthrough of the entire Siniya Island project, as well as what's available at the time we have the call, and then do the numbers together on screen, then please get in touch with me at the email given below the video. Just click on it or put it in your mailbox and send me a hello, and I will reach out to you and we'll have that call very soon. Thank you.